I'm Chris McDonough, a retired homicide detective. I've interviewed thousands of people, from serial killers to ministers. Welcome to the interview room. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the interview room. So grateful that you're here this evening. I decided to dress a little casual, as you can tell. And man, what a amazing, amazing mom that is, isn't she, Miss Brandy? Um, Boy, you know, I've worked a lot of cases in my time, and it's always neat to see somebody who has a strength that I don't know, where all of this strength comes from, but obviously, as a mom, she has the capacity to dig deep and for, um, obvious reasons. Well, I want to thank everybody if you're new to our channel for being here tonight. I bought a new um, internet pack here, and I hope it's going to work correctly for us. I want to thank all of our mods as always. Miss Sophia, Maui Girl, Mimi J2, Sophie H, and Stephanie Herb. You guys are absolutely, in my opinion, some of the best people um, on YouTube. Without good people on your team, you can't have interviews like that with Brandy to help find Michael Vaughan. At least raise the awareness for people to um, take that extra step to help find this little guy. Where whenever we look at these kind of things, from a behavioral analysis aspect in terms of, with the cold case and with all the things that we do, um, it's really fascinating to see the dynamics of the families. And, this family is so different than others that we have come in contact with, all of us. We've come to know, um, children's families as we go along here. Um, and then you see, you know, the, the dynamics of each of the family dynamics. And no family is perfect, not even mine, in terms of, what we may think is correct behavior. We all react differently in relationship to these kind of challenges that come our way. My journey in all of this years ago, I've shared it in the past, but it actually started in about 1980, just actually 70, late 79, early 80. And it was with our oldest son, Ian, who was playing out on the sidewalk in front of our house. He had one of those big wheels. Remember those big wheels back in the day where they would ride with the one wheel up top and then they would spin? Well, there was a car that had pulled up, and this is how my career was motivated. Um, what happened was the passenger door opened and I saw my little guy looking at the interior of this car. I could not hear what the person was saying. I could only see them from my kitchen window. Long story short, I took off, and the suspect took off. Uh, I was not quick enough to get his license plate, but anyway, fortunately, my little boy at the time did not get in the car. Well, it was at that moment, back then, that I made a deal, and I promised God, if you gave me an opportunity, I would hunt these guys down for the rest of my life. So here I am. 1982, I found myself in the police academy, and I've been hunting these animals uh, since that day. It's been my life works. It's been my life work. And this is a little boy that resonates with my heart, as does Summer. These children just don't disappear. Again, we go back. And, you know, I found myself in some specialized training. Uh, Coop will tell you all about it. But it got me to a place now where I've have the opportunity. God has opened other doors for me to train law enforcement around the country. For many, for the last I've been in this game well since 1982. So almost 40 years, and I look forward to seeing matching bracelets get on the wrist of these individuals who would do our children harm. Um, I want to talk about Michael tonight, and we'll also dip into, if necessary, we'll talk about other things on your mind. I haven't done this in a while. I I try to focus on some things during the week that help me prepare for tonight, and also try to keep information out there that's factual in nature. And I've been called everything in the in the book. It doesn't matter who you talk to or what you talk to. If you've been in law enforcement for any time, then you're gonna get a couple of right hooks and left hooks, but don't always believe everything you hear. Okay. It's because everything that's ever thrown at me. I was just in a trial last week, actually 2 weeks ago, and the defense attorneys brought up an old case, and I said, if you want to talk about it, let's do it. And of course, they didn't, because they didn't want to know the totality of what happened, and the reality of it was I got an innocent person. I refused to testify against somebody that I knew had not committed a crime, and that person today is out, and that person is forever grateful. I'm sure of it. Um, and those are the kind of things today where we have, and I've got a couple of theories and a couple of hypotheses about why we're seeing an uptick in relationship to this type of predatory behavior taking place in our society today. Back uh, before Summer, before Michael, before Letitia, before all these kids early on, and there are many of them, right? Many of them. Stranger abduction, though, is a very rare event. There's approximately 4% of these types of cases that are stranger abduction. With what they call trafficking today, is really just a rebranding of some of the workers late into the evening who have become younger and younger. But children for the most part, younger children, most of those individuals are in overseas. Now, this phenomena has been going on, long before I was ever on this earth, and I assume that it's going to go on, continually. So, what we need to do as parents, grandparents, friends, neighbors, is we need to get back to this idea of building a sense of community. And when these kind of stories start to happen in our news, we have to also look at some of the social changes that have taken place in relationship to inappropriate material. I'm not going to use that word. I think it's just a disgusting word because I know what it stands for and I know what it can cause. I know it can rewire our systems. And I'm not talking about normal behavior. I'm talking about behavior that has just gone off the rails. Years ago in San Diego County, they had what was called the San Diego County Homicide Task Force, and there were 43 victims in the hills off of Interstate 8, Interstate 10, or excuse me, Interstate 8, going towards Phoenix, and in Buckman Springs area, that area. And there were also like 6 or 7 children that were taken, and lives were extinguished, unfortunately. So there was a question. Uh, was it the question was back then is had the suspect changed his victimology? That individual was ultimately arrested. His last name was Porter, David Porter. And he was preying on folks 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And long story short, there was a question of whether or not the suspect had changed victimology. So I was blessed to basically do a little work on interviewing folks. And what I discovered was at that time that the people working at night, and you know who I'm talking about, were complaining that the folks coming out were basically crueler. They're mean, and they were choking folks, which was a real swing in the pendulum. And this was about 1993. And I came up with a hypothesis back then that was circulated and ultimately got branded as the advent of the intellectual white collar predator. And this situation, uh, we s- I projected, and that we watched a uptick in relationship to the type of victimology that was coming into play, which would usually only be reserved for 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, for lack of a better term, out on the street. Well, it was at that time, obviously, between 1993 and 1995, the advent of the internet came along. And the first photograph, my understanding, if my memory serves me right, and some of you who are much smarter than me will remember that the first photo was ever transferred over the line, i.e., the internet, in 1995. So, as a result of that, there was a problem that occurred, and that was individuals became not only physically involved, but you know, visually involved too. And so they weren't able to compete with each other in these chat rooms back then. So the hypothesis was we would see an uptick on victimology getting younger and younger and younger. And then without legislators taking and doing their job to regulate uh, portals, we would see this permeate into our society and our culture to where our children will become more and more vulnerable. Well, folks, I think we're there. And I think unless we can turn this train around somehow, uh, we have to worry about the Michaels and the monkeys of the world. All of our grandchildren, all of our children, we have to teach them. We have to teach them about what to do if they're ever, confronted and or find themselves in a situation. And so, I know that's kind of a bummer to start this, this live with, because me, I'm a pretty optimistic person. But when I was listening to Brandy and talk about, her little cuteness and her love, um, I had to again scratch my head and go, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" This is a big world, and we're just not taking care of our vulnerable like we should. Neighbors, friends, just our neighborhoods. We can all get together, in my opinion, and have disagreements, have opinions. That's all cool. Okay. I'm on it. I love it. Okay. But we don't have to be mean, and we don't have to be driven by behaviors that just are not acceptable for our children. Uh, you know, and so that's my 2 cents on that one. Um, and I hope in the next 10 or 15 years we figure it out. Because I'm here to tell you, I was just recently, I did some training for some undercover folks, and the things that they're talking about on the streets today, you know, we have to do a better job of figuring it out as maybe a little bit wiser in life. So, okay, so with that, let's see where everybody is. Let's have a little roll call here, and I got my board. Ah! So let me see if this is working. All right. Whoop! That's not the right one, is it? All right. So let's see where we're at here. And we are. Woo! All right. So tell me where you're at. Here we come. Chicago, Seattle, Michigan, Australia, East Tennessee, Sevier County, love that area. Ohio, Louisiana, spin the wheel. Way to go, Care. Thank you, Rachel. California, West Virginia, Hannah, Utah, New York, San Antonio. Remember the Alamo, Colorado, Alabama. Love, is that Lubbock, Texas? Love it, Australia. Hello, mate. Grateful you guys got Cleo back. Oregon, Kentucky, Memphis, Ontario, Boston, Beantown, Jen. What's up? Texas. Don't mess with Texas. North Wisconsin, Folsom. Tell me no. Michigan tonight, Boston, Australia, NorCal, North Carolina. Born there, by the way. My dad was in the Marine Corps at Camp Lejeune. Leeds, Redding, California, Alabama, Rock Hill, South Carolina, Bakersfield, New Hampshire, Oklahoma. Absolutely love it. Kern County, Delaware. I love Kern County too. I had a big shootout up there. Not me, but the cops up there shot my murder suspect. Go figure. New Orleans. You're right. I'm grooving. UK, Pacific Northwest. There you go. Michigan in the house, North Carolina, Sarasota, Florida. It's so great to have you guys here. It really is. It's so exciting to have you guys jump in with us tonight. And boy, what an interview with our that. Oh my gosh, Brandy is an amazing, amazing mama. And going to Hawaii, yes, it's great to see you. Uh, Scotland in the house. I see they're still coming up. Thank you guys so much for being here. Brandy, and Tyler. These this young couple, I want to clear up some of the dynamics there, right? So they have two children, which is Michael and their youngest daughter, and those are they're the biological parents. And then Tyler has two kids from also another um, relationship. So there are four kids, two teenagers and two younger. The two youngest belong to Brandy and Tyler. And what a day. We are into 208 days today. 208 days for this little guy. Wow. I, you know, I've I have unbelievable respect for what these parents are experiencing. I had a chance to talk to the Fruitland Police Department. I talked to Captain Cy Armstrong down there, who's intimately involved in the investigation. And it's those guys are going, man. They are going um, 150 miles an hour, and it's oh man, I just know that feeling where it becomes so uh oh, they're her kids. Karen just told me they're her kids. I got that wrong. I apologize. The younger two are Tyler and hers. That's what I said, I think. But if I got it wrong, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get it wrong, but I thought that's what I said. Yeah, the two younger kids are theirs, and the two older kids um oh, I see. The 2 older kids are hers as well. I apologize. I'm sorry. I thought they were Tyler's. So, um, that's see, I married so far up. My Karen, she keeps me in the straight and narrow on this thing right here. So, I'm sorry, Brandy and Tyler. I apologize for that mistake, and, I'm glad my Karen's right right over there to fix me. Um, so, you know, with all of the pressure that they're under, the police department told me that they are going 150 miles an hour. The parents have been 100,000% cooperative. There appears to be no issues from their perspective at this point that would indicate any type of information other than um, that they um, see that Michael made his way out of that house. There are three folks in the neighborhood that had eyes on. I don't know the other details in relationship to why there wasn't a contact there or something to that effect. So I'm going to wait until the authorities tell us why. Um, but we definitely have information that is coming from, you know, the authorities that, this little guy made it outside. And so as a result of that, it's really interesting to see, how the parents responded initially, when, Tyler discovered him missing. What's instinctive for them was they both headed to that splash pad, which is a water pad, with little jets of water spray up. It was 100 and something degrees that day, and he, in the past, had made it around the front, got out through the gates, and he was on his way up the street, and that's where the grandfather, had found him in the past. And now at this time, during this incident, obviously, grandpa was coming home, and pulled up, and there was a full blown search going on already that day, or that that moment. So mom was at work. She's on video all day at work. Brandy is, and Tyler's there with the kids. One of the teenagers had left just after dinner, and it was shortly thereafter that Michael made his way out. So that means we have one of the other teenagers, the baby, and little monkey. So our responsibility now is, let's get as much information out into the public. Let's continue to raise awareness for this child, and let's let's keep pushing, that rock until there's no more. We recover him, and we can all sit back and say, okay, there's no more to do right now. We've accomplished the task. So I promised Brandy, and when I make a promise, there's just something inside of me that just won't let me stop. So we've got a lot of moving parts here on this particular case. There's been an issue. Obviously, people have complained or criticized the law enforcement, but I know for a fact, because I talked to some folks, that there were some other decisions made outside of the original agency, and we'll just let that sit there in relationship to the Amber Alert. But I can bet you, in the long run, folks are going to look back and debrief uh, when that button should have been pushed. But it's no sense in Monday morning quarterbacking. It does no good for Mikey or Michael and Monkey. So I'm not going to go there. I will let them do that amongst themselves, and trust me, they'll figure it out. But you're right. There has to be um, there has to be a protocol for a certain age group that says push the button, not enhanced risk or whatever. Remember, Amber alerts are set by the legislature. So legislators are the ones that make that decision and then pass it on to the state police. And so even though an agency says, hey, I think we should push the button, it doesn't necessarily mean that button's going to get pushed, because it has to go through a criteria set up by that state for Amber Alert. And if all of those boxes aren't checked, then, somebody's not going to push that button. And, you know, I don't know what happened in this circumstance, so I'm not going to speculate or guess. But at some point, folks will sit back and go, let's take a look at what went down here over time. But they don't have that time right now to go there. So I think we as a public, just kind of set back for a little bit, and at the very end, i.e., um, when Michael's recovered, then we can weigh in as a citizenry. You folks in Idaho can weigh in as a citizenry. Now, I have one question. I saw that that area where they live is on the border. The Snake River looks like it cuts uh, Oregon. It cuts a little bit of Oregon. Um, can somebody confirm that for me in the chat so I can see? And also, I see your chats coming in. I see your membership coming in. Thank you. I'll get to those towards the end. Um, let's see here. If somebody could tell me if that's geographically, if that's correct, I would greatly appreciate that. Um, yeah, female teenager, Christine. All right. So you mentioned that about Oregon. Okay. Okay. So Uh, thank you, Stephanie. Vet Girl says, yes, that is on the border. So I think you folks in Oregon, in that part of the country, if you haven't already, please go get the flyer, okay, from this. I just put it in um, chat. Go to the police department, pull that flyer, and let's get this information out into that neck of the woods as well. Because I know we're focusing on Idaho, but you know, it can be Oregon as well. Uh, anything can be a possibility and in play here. Because one of the things that we have to, what I want to talk to you, what to talk to everybody about, and we can teach each other, okay, as always, there's a couple of things I think in play here initially. One is what, you know, Karen has always called the Adam Walsh effect, right, with Tyler. This isn't like, you know, we've got parents who aren't cooperating, who aren't, you know, looking. This is a situation where you may have one of the two parents trying to process information. Now, anything is possible, but you know, the benefit of the doubt tells us all that you know this could be the same scenario that John Walsh was facing with his wife. Right, and remember, she was the last one to see Adam, as I mentioned with Brandy. But at the same time, he protected her and kind of kept her in the background. Okay. I know that, you know, Tyler is building up, you know, internally. He's been going through a lot. And um, I talked to, when I talked to Brandy the other night, that he was going to hopefully, you know, come up and talk at some point. But I'm going to do that offline personally, and then when he feels comfortable, then and if he wants to, he knows that you know we're a safe platform for him. It's totally up to him. Let's not push it. Okay, let's not push it because you know I think we all know we can all react differently, right? So 208 Ds into this. Uh, Tyler's the he's the same as Adam Walsh's wife at this point in my mind. You know, he was the last to see Michael. He, you know, was the last to be there with him. And then, of course, you know, he's in full panic mode when he gets on the phone with mom. And the authorities have not come out or indicated in any way, shape, or form that you know there's something going on there. And so let's make sure we keep these parents together and in our prayers, okay? In our prayers. Something interesting. Over 60 different type of video management systems were have been recovered to date, i.e., that could be anywhere from doorbell, you know, ring doorbells, that could be gas stations, that can be supermarkets. They have over, the chief has reported over 60 different video management systems from businesses and residents. And this is a lot of material to go through. This is a lot of material to go through. And so there are some companies out there that can go through this quickly. But in a case like this, you want to make sure that you are eyes on visually going through every single frame of that of film. Every frame, uh, you want a visual on it. Okay. And so I think this is part of, you know, some of the things that they're working on. They had over 300 leads. The captain told me that they have been chasing. So one of the dynamics that we have to think through now on this one, right? So you saw where I talked to her, and by the way, is she not the bravest mom? I mean, she is a one strong mama. I'm a little worried about her though, guys. I would tell you, and I think she knows I am because I talked to her offline. You know, her job, we have to get her, keep her, keeping Michael in the news. We have to keep him out front. Okay. That's our job as a true crime community now. Help her, help keep his name out front because the mainstream media goes like this, okay, and then they get something else and it does this. Here on YouTube, we can keep a constant. We can keep a constant. So if you know her or and she needs to get her message, she'll trust you. None of this craziness. Okay? None. No craziness. This is a real family suffering. Okay. And we need to keep that, first and foremost for her. In order for her to keep pressing forward, we just need to be normal. Okay. It's that simple. Okay? In that area, I did a little homework and I talked to a couple of folks in that area. If you guys have the internet, if you want to see who's in your neighborhood, I would recommend a website called familywatchdog.us. That's familywatchdog.us. And you can go in there and you can type your address and you will see all the RSOs in your neighborhood, okay, that you can um, find who's in your arena, for lack of a better term, all RSOs. So in that neighborhood, there are or in that area, geographic area, and it's quite an area, quite a large area. It's not just Fruitland. It's anywhere within a 25-mile radius of this baby. So 26 RSOs are mapped, and there are 13 unmapped. Now, what mean? Well, every law enforcement agency, depending on the type of offender going to be released into the community, is sent a bunch of letters to the agency. And it would say something like this: Dear Chief so and so, this individual, a level, whatever the level is, if it's a high risk, then it will say this high risk offender, level whatever, is coming to your community after serving their time. Now, they're not out of prison yet. They're just releasing them back into the community to reacclimate through the parole system. Remember, parole, you are still in custody. You just live in the neighborhood. Okay. And you're supervised either by visual, check in with your PO, parole officer, every opportunity you can. And if you're real high risk, they'll put you on a ankle bracelet or a bracelet. Now, in my career, I think one of the most creative individuals, I'm not going to name any names, but he put it on his dog in his yard. So this individual was always in his yard. Well, later on, everybody scratched their head and figured out it was his dog. So we have to be vigilant, not vigilantes, right? Not hurting or harming anybody. That's never the answer. Never. Okay. Don't ever do that. Okay. But we have to be aware. As they say in Hawaii, there's a term called akamai, which means pay attention. Okay. So I would encourage you to be akamai. Look your address up. See who's in your geographic region. Don't bother them. Leave them alone. They're supervised. Okay. But become aware, akamai, who is in your neighborhood. Okay. So what happens is they get this letter that says, Dear Detective so and so or Chief so and so, this guy's coming into your neighborhood and your community. Some agencies will send letters, some through their public informations officers will, make the community aware of it. Depends on the risk level of the offender. Somebody that is a high risk, you have to remember that you have got to be aware that these individuals cannot be fixed. Okay. They're broken. Okay. They can only learn how to control impulses. Okay. But they've been rewired for many, many years. Okay. And the name of that website, I see, Shirley, is Family Watchdog, one word, familywatchdog.us. .us, familywatchdog.us. Maybe Maui or Sophie or one of our mods, we can put that in. Thank you so much. Um, uh, my witch. You guys are hysterical. I love you guys, man. This absolutely your monikers just are hysterical. Uh, just perfect. Okay, thank you so much, folks, for mods for putting that in there, and also our membership here or our subscribers. Okay, so you get that they get that letter, and um, here's what happens. Okay, there's a caseload, at least there was in my agency, like this, right? Of all these letters. And you literally would go on, parole checks with the POs. So, we would go around the office and says, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" Well, I'm right in between something. Okay, great. You're going with parole and you're going to go do 290 checks. Okay. So that's what you would do, and you would ring these doorbells, and of course, it was grandmother's address and, nobody's around. So at that point, now that individual has just qualified, for their very own, warrant, into the system in NCIC. So next time they're, hooked up or stopped for a traffic ticket or whatever, they get an opportunity to get a set of matching bracelets, and they have, 3 meals coming back at them. Hopefully it's peanut butter and jelly, but sometimes it's bologna. We're not always sure. Depends on where they're caught. So anyway, that goes into the system. They're hooked up. They go back into the system. Their PO is notified, and then from there, um, and you know, they're basically told, "Don't do that again." Okay, and you poor folks in Cali, you know, uh, somebody's got to get a handle on it, folks, over there in California, because they're letting them out like cracker jacks, and you're gonna see, there's gonna be a consequence for it, unless folks get on the ball. So once that happens, then these guys hopefully are going to be able to be managed, and that's what we call managed. Okay, 42 mapped, 10 unmapped, whatever that means. What that means, Suzanne, is 42 of them have checked in, 10 have not checked in. So that means you have 10 of these individuals who the state does not know where they're at. Okay. So they were supposed to go to your community, if that was around your address, but they never checked in. So in this case, you have they have 13 individuals around uh, Michael's geographic region. Okay. Now, what's that mean? It means in this kind of case, the cops um, are going to check every one of these guys and gals. There's a gal in this too, by the way, um, in terms of on the registry. And they're gonna, for lack of a better term, they're gonna lift them up and see if any coins come falling out of their pockets. Okay. So this is really important, for families to understand when you're in a geographic region, this changes so frequently. Okay. That always go check this at least, you know, 4 or 5 times a year. Okay. So and then, one of the things, we used to teach our children is to have a safe what we call a safety zone. And in that safety zone are friends and or family that Karen and I have vetted, and we know them. And if it was on the way to school, then we would talk to these friends and neighbors and make sure all of our children knew if there was an emergency, they could run to our house and ring the doorbell. And if the door is open, just walk in, okay, to get them off the street. Okay? Because the biggest threat to these individuals is time. Okay, I'm going to say that again. The biggest threat to these individuals is time. Okay. When an individual like this, if it's a victim of opportunity, they have got to narrow that time gap down because of the risk that they're taking. Because of the risk that they're taking. Now, that risk is predicated upon what's going on up here in terms of, fantasy. If this overcomes this, they will take the risk. Okay? So, one of the things I do on this channel is help lower that risk by talking and educating you, I hope, on how to do that. And one of the ways to do that is you teach your child that if there's a car coming this way and they're walking this way, okay, they turn the opposite direction of where the car is facing. Okay? So teach your children to run the opposite direction of where the car is facing. Okay? And as they run past the car, look back, see if they can get a license plate, even a couple of digits, not to memorize it. Just run by and see if you see a 4, 3, 2, whatever it is, and keep on moving. Okay. If the car turns around, okay, and starts coming back, okay, cross the street and run the opposite direction because now you're away from the driver's door. Okay. So if your child, is stuck in a scenario where the car is advancing on them, immediately either A, take a quick left, turn, go behind the car, cross the street, okay, and then run the opposite direction. So you want to keep this person offbeat, okay? Offbeat. Don't ever let your child and you women as well, don't ever get in a car where a suspect pulls a gun, a knife, or anything. Your chances of survival are about 80%. Okay. I know that's not good numbers, but it's better than zero. Okay. This weapon, if you if a suspect pulls up alongside you and says, get in the car, okay, run the opposite direction of where the car is facing. Because that suspect now has to turn if that person is going to engage you. And there are all kinds of obstacles that that round has to now navigate. If it hits a window at a certain way, that round's going to potentially ricochet down, or it could go this way, or it could go this way. Okay. It is a lot safer to run from that than having the suspect say, get in the car, and now you are in what we call a secondary crime scene. And that person now can control the entire situation. So never, never get into a car with a guy with a gun, ever. Don't do it. Okay. Statistically, statistically, your survival will go up 80%. Okay. So I told my daughter years ago, and our children, our kids, I don't care if he's got a bazooka. Don't get in the car. Okay. Run. Okay. The opposite direction. Another quick one in a neighborhood is have a secret code or password. Car pulls up. Let's say two moms, right? You moms are gonna, swap rides for a couple, a day or so, taking the kids to school. You tell your children, you know, Karen is going to pick you up at 2 o'clock. The password is, remember the old game, password, and the password is, okay. Well, that's where it comes from. Okay, that thought. Okay, and you give them a password that only you, Karen, and your child knows. So let's hypothesize and go forward here for a second. And we use, yeah, I love that, Aaron. Thank you. Yeah, we use PIN codes. Give them a PIN code. Exactly. Something like that. That's great. Great thinking. And when this person, let's say it's Joan, who shows up and says, "Hey, your mom sent me to pick you up." The first thing out of your child's mouth should be, "What's the password?" Okay. If they go, "What? What do you mean?" No, from that moment, there is no further discussion on the phone. Mom, yada yada. Okay. Uh, don't don't ever get into let them go in that. Okay. So don't ever let them take to a secondary location. Run the opposite way of the car. Secret code or password. Okay. Those are a couple of things that will help. Okay. And that could, you know, prevent something horrible from occurring. Okay. Now, and that all has to be age dependent, right? We have to teach our children according to their ability to comprehend. So, we have to think through this. And so, the cognitive skills of your children. So you guys, um, you know, you guys know when um, they'll get it. But and practice too, by the way. You have to practice. Practice, practice, practice. And the buddy system. Don't don't let your children go into a restroom by themselves. Especially not today. Especially not today. Uh, don't ever let them go into a restroom, a public restroom by themselves. Ever. Okay? Things have changed. Remember, I did Matthew Checky, and he was the start of family restrooms. And so if you as a mom have hesitation about a restroom or whatever, take them in with you. And if somebody says anything, say, "Oh well, it's my child, my child." Hey, and don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Okay. And the other thing, older children like 11, 12, 13, or whatever, teach them how to whistle. So if you're going to stand at the door or wherever you're going to be, and each family is different, everybody's different, find a family bathroom, and then make sure you open that door first and look in. Okay. Look inside. Don't let them just walk in. S- Time out with kids, right? Time out with kids. Remember, what's the suspect looking for? Time. Okay. Our job is to take that time away because they will go to another unsuspecting child, for lack of you know, a horrible description, okay, to try to take, you know, his, his time. He wants the advantage. And yeah, same with dads with their daughters. Take them into the stall, you know, lock them in or stand at the door at the stall and let them do their business. Okay. Do not, in today's world, I will tell you as a guy who's been studying these guys for 40 years, and I know I keep reiterating, it's not about me. Okay. I honestly know that I have talked to these guys one on one, and the things I'm telling you, okay, they have told me. Okay. So I'm sharing the information of how these guys tick and how they're thinking. So yeah, a dad, if you've got a little girl and you're you have no other option, take her in. Take her in. Shield her, get her into the restroom, stand there at the door. End of story. And if any guy says something, just say none of your business. You know. Now, I was on the Oprah Winfrey show and I shared this on TV. I had a 4-year-old. I was in the restroom. She put her head because a dad did that. She put her head underneath. I'll have to play you the clip one day. But as I said there, I said, make sure you control your kids, right? But this dad had the right idea. Good for him. So good for you guys. Okay. Good for you guys for bringing that up. That could backfire. Yeah, it could. Um, but if it only backfires versus, you know, somebody waiting, I'll take the backfire any day of the week. Any day of the week. Okay. All right. So we getting back to this idea here, we've got 26 mapped, 13 unmapped. So that's 39 potential problems in the region. In the region. Okay. Yeah. We want to be proactive for sure, Melanie. Let me put your comment up there. Can I put this up there? So here we go. We were taught to just be a tad more like how to disable find the tire and also monsters in his eyes, gut the eyes. Okay. Marilyn Sabria, leave evidence. There you go. Yeah. Poke them in the eyes. That a girl. Okay. So let me get up to some of these starred. And I want to absolutely start pointing these out. Thank you, Starry Night. Appreciate you very much. Became a U2. Erica, thank you. Appreciate you. The Duchess, love that. Love it. Thank you for your kind tenor. Thank you so much. Happy caffeinated couple. You guys are very kind. Thanks. Um, this is it's let's see here. Robin, got it. Thank you. Thank you for your post about monkey. Thank you, Kelly. We're just starting, right? We're just getting here. Mary Jane became a team. Thank you, Mary Jane. Just do meh, meh. Yeah, love it. Thank you. Happy caffeinated couple again. These words are crucial for our society here. We need to hear that. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not any rocket scientist, right? I just, for some reason, God has put me in this position, and so we're going to take advantage of it. Jen, thank you so much for your kindness. You're very grateful. You're very kind. Banu Helaman, thank you for that super sticker. Rock RN, awesome. Love our nurses. love our doctors, love our teachers, love our firefighters, love our military. Thanks for helping. Thank you, Jamie, for being here. You're helping as well. Thank you, Truca Girl. Thank you so much for your consideration. Judy, thank you so much. Um, Corporal Dead. Would chemical yeah, I don't know. I know there's been some studies. Uh, yeah, that's right, Katie. That's exactly right. There's been a lot of different studies, but I had a chance years ago to go up to Atascadero. Yeah, better being a toddler. That's exactly right. Thank you. And a grown-up adult. Thank you so much. Yes, you're right. I had an opportunity years ago to go to Atascadero State Hospital in California. And I had a chance to sit down with some of the doctors, and I'm trying to get a very dear friend of mine. His name is Larry Simons. He's working in Seattle right now. He's doing some research, but Larry promised me he's going to come on. This guy's been studying these guys. I mean, since I guess Moses. I don't know. He knows I'm kidding, but he's this guy. You're gonna love him, man. His schedule has just been slammed. He's lunched on me twice so far, but I'm gonna get him. As well as prevention from your local library. Thank you, Vet Girl, and thank you for your service. We're so grateful for you. It's because of your service I get to have this YouTube channel. I'm very appreciative of that to all of our vets. And keep everybody in your prayer that we don't have another war going on in the world here coming up. It's just horrible with what's going on over there, but we'll let that take its course, and hopefully we don't wake up and find there's some problems. But these guys, the time element that they fight is constantly what nags them and what bothers them. So it's up to us to take away that element of surprise, right? It's up to us to be ahead of that game. This is not my daddy's louse, but then people know it's okay. That is a great point. Not only that, there's also another one that people don't think about it, and my firefighters are going to know. It's you yell fire. Okay. Don't do it in a movie theater unless you're accosted. Then yell it. Even on the street. I taught my children that if anybody grabs you, you yell fire, fire, and every head turns and looks. And that's when you dovetail it into he's not my mom, he's not my dad. And you have, now you have two attention getters, for lack of a better term. Okay. People will turn right away to fire. If you're not my dad, you're not my mom, they may or may not get involved in today's society. Okay. But they are both good, and they are both good advice. That's great advice. So, you know, do that as well to what you're saying. Do that as well. Okay, so let me go up here. Let's see here. Thank you, Tentos. Love that. Love that. All right. So yeah, and have somebody down that woman. You know what's really have you guys are you guys of the same opinion that we're just so we're just so locked into this, okay, that we're losing a lot of this, our peripheral around us, right? And I've made a commitment to myself to do a better job of paying less attention to this when I'm in public, okay, and more attention to you know paying attention to what's around me, okay, what's around me. And so maybe that's something you guys could take a look at and see if it works for you as well. Um, um, yeah, you're not getting in that car, Melissa. I don't blame you. Yeah, don't get in any cars. And then children, the buddy system. Yeah, earbuds. I see runners all the time. And there was a case recently, remember, where that young girl, that young lady was running, and the suspect just came over, and while she was running, came up behind her and hit her right off of the street there and killed her right there in a cornfield. Um, and because she had you know, no sense of reality. If you're going to run, running on the street is great. Run on the sidewalk if possible. Run towards traffic, not away from it, so it's coming up behind you. See what's happening in your vision out front. If you walk to your car, for an example, um, make sure you have your keys in your hand. Remember that one? You put your key through your fist, and you can pop them if necessary. You're welcome, and we've just started. We're going to keep moving. And thank you, uh, Pointer Lover. Appreciate you very much. But yeah, just boom. You know, um, and always make sure you look in your back seat before you get in your front seat real fast. So you do a cursory search real fast. Just peek in and then get in your car. Unlock your car when you're about 5 feet away, not 10 feet, 20 feet. Okay. Unlock it for about 5. Okay. Look around you, make your entrance, close it, lock it. Okay. Don't open the door once you're in your car to anybody. In fact, Karen will tell you the other night we had a guy uh, come to our door, and passenger side where Karen was sitting. Fortunately, I had all the doors locked, and he knocks on the window. And I did one of these like DLR, right? Does not look right. Okay. And I looked at him, and I get out of the car and I walk around the front. And he wasn't expecting that. Okay. And then he comes walking around and he goes, "Can I use your phone?" And I said, "For what?" And he goes, "So I can call my dad." I said, "Okay." And he starts putting his hand in his pocket. And I told him, I said, "Get your hands out of your pocket." And he does one of these. I said, "What's your phone number?" And he told me, and I called the number. I said, "Hey, there's a kid here." He was like 17 or 18, but he had a little HBD. He'd been drinking, so he had a little alcohol in his breath. And I told his dad, I said, "Hey, is this your son?" I had his name. He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, he's right here. He wants to talk to you." And I handed him the phone. He said, "Dad, I need you to come get me." Okay. Um, and he did. And I think, though, he underestimated the car. And long story short, but my sweetheart goes, "Honey, I'm so glad I have my door locked." I said, "Yeah, I know, me too." Because, you know, you're on that side. I was over here, sweetie. And we started cracking up. But, those are the kind of things, right? And I saw another one go by on your door clicker about the alarm. Great advice. Absolutely great advice. Great advice. Yeah, great advice. So, uh, good to go. All right. So let's see. If you guys are new to our channel, I usually don't just chit chat like this, but I just feel with this case with little monkey, you know, we let's just keep him in our prayers. Pray for the the law enforcement and the authorities looking for this baby as well. And we have to keep him in the news. So we need to start spreading his information more than it has been. And I have I like I said, I talked to the captain, Captain Armstrong, Cy Armstrong, at the Fruitland Police Department, and I asked him, how can we help? How can social media help and keep it to the facts, reasonable? And he appreciated that we had called. And so we talked to each other, probably for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And, you know, he said, we would hear more updates as the chief had them. And so he's going to kind of, let the chief know that our true crime community and, TIR were available as a platform if necessary, as well as others, to get information out, but keep it, reasonable and keep it, not speculative and within reason. Okay. Um, so what else is on your mind? Thank you, Liddell. Thank you. Um, let's see here. What's on your mind? I'm going to grab a couple of um, questions coming in here. Yeah, wasp spray. That's a good one. Meredith, you're like you like teach karate or wow. Look at this. This is another great one. Or bear spray. Keep it in your car because there's bears everywhere in society. You never know when you're going to come across a grizzly, right? Mace could be illegal, depends on what state you're in. Bear spray is always good. Uh, you know, thank you, Renee. You're very kind. Uh, Miss Mimi, who is one of our world famous mods. We just love Miss Mimi, and these. Oh, I'll tell you, we've got the best mods. I know that some of our gals had to jump. Uh, let's see here, Brer Spray. That's good. That's good. Hi, Linda. How are you? Great to see you. Uh, can I call my dad on your? Yeah, yeah. Right. Exactly. That was that young man. All right. So what's the latest with I haven't weighed in since DW is, you know, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and watching reruns of CNN. He's got 33 square feet is what I hear, you know. And I did talk to Mary today at length for about an hour. Buster says wasp spray won't work. Okay. Okay. I don't know why, but yeah, somebody knows something more than me. So you'll just have to switch hands and grab that bear spray. Uh, you know, I I just want to real fast just touch base about what Mary said. I talked to her at length. She sends her love with everybody. Her investigator, who I've communicated with in the past, and the case is moving, and she is doing great. Jeannie's doing good, and they're waiting for their investigator to go to the next step. They had to gather some additional witnesses that they are uh, doing that now. Actually, Mary found them for the investigator and turned him over to um, the authorities, i.e., their name, contact information, etc. So she's still in good spirits, a little frustrated because it's taking so long, but the investigation's still going. Quite frankly, I'm hoping that they nail him for her problem and her cases. Right? She's a victim. She is a victim. Both of them, while he's in custody. I think that would be amazing. I think that it would be absolutely 100% amazing that if they drop while he's in custody for 6 months, um, additional, cards on them, on him. I heard that, and I've been paying attention, but I've been staying out of it. Um, Thank you so much, Jane. You're so so kind. It's not necessary, but we appreciate it. Um, I heard that other people are, having a tough time, and we'll see what happens. This case, but on that side of the coin, is not going away, guys. And if it does, I'll personally make a phone call and drive over there and say, "What are you guys doing?" Okay, so it is still moving. I can promise you that it is still moving because they are still collecting evidence, even as recently, like I said, as yesterday, on some things that they needed to wrap up. So hopefully this will be kind of some of those other things. Her detective told her to stay off of YouTube, which I also encouraged her. Don't do it. And I think it's up to us as creators as well, then not to try to get her or bait her into coming up on any of these channels. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not going to do it. I talk to her offline. I ask her what she needs and how I can help, and then she says, "Would you tell everybody?" Which I am doing here, and sharing it with everybody. And if you haven't had a chance to go over to her YouTube page, go over there. She's making some mean food, and hit that subscribe button, and that's how you can support her right now as she tries to get through this process as they're welcome, as they're there. So that said, I want everybody to know how grateful Karen, Dylan, and I are for just your just to subscribe. We are so grateful. We're almost there at that one. Dylan's like, "Dad, I'd love to get that before I went off to college." And I said, "Well, God's in control. We just do what's right and let the consequences follow." Thank you, Rowan. Um, Oops. Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. You're so kind and considerate. But I know I'm no perfect. You know, in any way, shape, or form. I've make mistakes. I always will. It's just, I guess, part of the human experience here. So, forgive me if I've ever offended anybody or offended you or in any way, shape, or form. Forgive me. It's never my intent. It's never my intent. So, um, anyway, thank you guys for being here. Is there anything on your mind that we're going to talk a lot more about? You know, Brandy, Tyler, Monkey. This is not a drive-by. We're gonna press on this, and I'm never going anywhere with Summer. I've got some other things that I'm cooking up. I've got Steve coming back. And the reason I want him to analyze some of these other things, and I know some folks have said, why do we keep going over this? Because, you know, the reason we keep going over is because you pick up something new when you bring in another expert. And that's what I want Steve to do. So Steve is listening to the house right now and breaking it down. And if you've not had a chance to get over to Truth to Lies and Steve Johnson, man, he's this guy, Steve, he never ceases to amaze me. He never ceases to amaze me. Also, we've got some really cool things happening with the Cold Case Live over there at with the Cold Case Foundation. We are doing some things with Hunter Killer. If you've not ever seen that, we are helping them with that program, and it's pretty cool. It's called Hunt a Killer. So a lot of that information you're getting is some of it's coming from the Cold Case Foundation. But Cold Case Live, it's $2 a month over there. That's all they ask, and it helps support the work of all of these guys and families who are suffering without the ability to have a full-time investigator on some of their families' cases that have gone cold. So the Cold Case Foundation, is a 501c3. They're supported by donations. I am merely the law enforcement director of relationships. So basically, I kiss babies, shake hands, and consult on cases. And I had an opportunity last couple of weeks ago to weigh in on a woman who was charged with a very serious offense, and they found her not guilty after some evidence that I had discovered. But they did find her negligent on some things, but she's not in prison for the rest of her life, which is doing God's work. Is appreciated. And speak of our dear Mary, here she is. There you guys go. Hi, Chris. I just want to say thank you so much to you and everyone. I'm staying behind the lines. I just want to stop in for a minute and say thank you all. Thank you, Mary. You have a lot of love, Mary. You know that. And I'm very proud of you. You're a survivor. And Jeannie is a survivor. So keep going. Stay the course. Okay. Stay the course. And I told everybody what you told me to say. So I follow orders. But you have a lot of love from a lot of people, Mary. You know that. And we'll light the chat up. Let's light the chat up for Mary. Thank you. Okay, so stay strong. Rose Bly, thank you, Marla. Thank you for reminding me. I have to call him next week. The lead investigator. I've talked to him a couple of times, and I'll let you know as soon as I find out. We're supposed to have another debrief. The CCF is helping them as well. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully get some interesting stuff on the Rose Bly case. And I'm supposed to have Steve on, schedules permitting, for him next week. But I'm also going to come on a couple of shows next week. I know Josh has invited me. And if you haven't gone over there yet, hit his button as well at the lab. Become a lab rat. I love that. Become a lab rat. Let's see. And also you get safe personal alarms to carry with you at all times, proven to be extremely effective. Thank you, Corporal Deb. That's awesome. Thank you, Corporal Deb. Just out of curiosity, let's weigh in. I'm just curious. How many LE, former LE, retired, judges, lawyers, military, RNs, teachers. So just put your insignia there and the branch of military you served in any country, I'm just curious, how many of our audience have served their countries and or continue to serve our society. I want to give you guys all a shout out. So I'm going to turn on some cool music and let's do a roll call about all of our wonderful teachers, our RNs, and just everybody out there serving us. Thank you, Val. RN. Thank you, Tully. Ellie. RN Florida. Sarah. RN. Corporal Deb. Thank you for your service. Teacher. LD, thank you so much. Without teachers, I can't even read this stuff. Addiction. Tracy, thank you. The Brownies. Love it. EMT, thank you, Renee. Jeanette. Got it. Ellie, Robin, Family Law, thank you, Robin. Connie, 10 Toes, RN, should have known that one. Jamie, Civil Servant, thank you so much. Former Marine, where's that Marine? Let me see, where'd you go? Dr. Burns, thank you so much. Appreciate your service very much. DAs, thank you. Wow, you guys are awesome. Play Missy for me in Ireland. Thank you for that. Nurse, married to a cop. Wow. Guinea bug. Let's see here. RN Army wife, thank you, Diane. Appreciate your service as a family. Army wife veteran, the Spirit Whispers. Wow, you guys are amazing. Medical device sales. Thank you, Miss USA. Let's see here. Crisis worker. Wow, Rebecca, thank you. Unbelievable. LPN, thank you, Lex. Teacher behavioral therapist. Thank you, Jan. Weigh in. I want to pay attention to what you have to say. Keep us on the straight and narrow. Thank you so much. Medical field, Kentucky, thank you. Mary, Amy, teacher, retired, Bonnie, LP, combat vet. Thank you, Master Sergeant, United States Army. Wow. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are amazing. The Netherlands, thank you to us for being here. Sure appreciate you. Thank you for your service, everyone. Teacher family, substitute teacher, lots of professionals here. Yeah, thank you. Runs a DV shelter, Truth Seeker. Thank you. And look who came under the curtain. Navy vet, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Buddy says hi. Hello. But let's see. Let's show him the tricks you don't know. What do you think? No? He's not going there. Budzo. These little Jack Russells, he saw like 3 squirrels today. We're staying at a place where we have, as you can tell, much better Wi-Fi. And this nut job, every time he sees a squirrel, forget it. He is he is just such a cute little dog. And I know our friends over the pond in the UK use them for ratting and stuff. And boy, he'd be right in with you. So, hey, as we get into the summertime here, Karen and I are, going to be moving a lot more. Don't be surprised if we show up in your area. I'll make it a little known that we're going to be in certain places. We've actually got our schedule lined up here with, and thank you everybody for your service. Not only, just the military and everything, but just everything that civil, not only teachers. I mean, you good teachers you're not recognized enough. And same with our cops and our military guys. You will always get it here, folks. You'll always get it here. Anyway, so we've got a lot of cool things happening. I'll break the news to you. Dylan, is going off here in around April 19th. He's going to be going to school and some, life. And he's going to be joining. He got a full ride to the aviations program at a university. He was just accepted into Texas A&M as well, but he's not going to go to Texas A&M. He wants to be a pilot in the military. So one of the schools to get not only your commission, but it's up in Logan, Utah, Utah State. They have a avionics flight program up there, and he's got an opportunity to take advantage of that, and they're going to do it. He's going to do it. So let's keep him in our prayers. Margaret, thank you so much. Appreciate your service. Parole officer, etc. So that said, we can't thank you guys enough for everything you do for our family. Again, just subscribe. That's enough. Share this video. Hit that like button. And that's all we ask. That's all we ask as a family. Your kindness and the consideration that you guys have for us, it just blows us away. Just blows us away. So if you know anybody who's looking for a good, trustworthy true crime channel, who doesn't like the drama and all the other craziness, but keeps it to the facts, you found your home right here on the Interview Room. Don't believe everything you hear about me. You can go down into underneath every one of my videos. and read the truth about some of the cases that folks always like to throw up at me. And I just say, my bio speaks for itself. I'm still testifying as an expert on child homicide investigations, and I will always be hunting these guys down. So that said, my tradition here. Let's go to Hawaii. With that, I'm always grateful for each and every one of you. God bless each of you. Let's continue to take care of each other. I cannot thank you enough for the classiness you are in our chat and how you treat our mods. They are wonderful, wonderful people. But as important as that, continue to take care of each other, right? Continue to take care of each other. With that, I will see you shortly. Have a great evening, and thank you for being here, everybody.
Hard working every day, I'm stressed out 24/7, babe. No timeouts, wish we could fly away. You and I go to our favorite place. Oh yeah, make special memories together. I'll be your company now and forever. I say we fly away, you and me, go to our favorite place. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. I need a summer breeze, some fresh air to put my mind at ease. No cares. You wanna come with me? Me and you go to our favorite tree. Are you ready now? We jump on a plane now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. Don't hesitate now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. We'll never come down. We're going away. Yeah, we're going away. You and me. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii.